Virtual Vanguard Productions. Welcome to Cooking in the Dark, connecting communities through yummy food. Well, I'm blind and often am cooking in the dark. Most folks I know cook in the dark because they don't know where their food comes from. This show is dedicated to shedding light on the people and the places where our food is produced, right here in Colorado. We're going to change the way you think about food, one bite at a time. Hi everybody, we're here today in Boulder, Colorado, and we're going to be visiting Eric Skokan, the owner chef of the Black Cat Bistro. I'm Claudia Folska, your host today for Cooking in the Dark, and I'm here with Chef Eric. So, Chef Eric, tell us what we're going to be making today. I'm so excited to learn from you.
One of the things that we have that's fresh, I harvested early this morning, celery root. We're going to make a celery root puree, a soup, delicious. That's paired with a little bit of potato to give it a little better texture. And then we have a really neat garnish, little crunchy Maytag blue cheese fritters.
Now, I have never seen any celery root before. I've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me what the celery root looks like?
Sure. So a celery root, it's the root of a type of celery. Now this type of celery is grown for the root, which is the size and shape of maybe a baseball or a softball, and in fact maybe the large ones will be as big as a grapefruit. Straight out of the ground, has kind of a Medusa hair root thing with roots going all over the place. It holds on to a lot of dirt as well. When we're cooking them in the kitchen, we'll peel them generally with a knife. And then, although you could use a peeler as well, and then we make sure to rinse it really well to get the little bits of dirt out of the kind of nooks and crannies.
Well, I can really smell the pungent celery smell and flavor, but also the earth really comes through really strongly here.
Yes. Well, this one was harvested an hour ago.
Okay.
So,
what do? You take it from this, and then what does it look like when we're ready to prepare it in the soup?
Well, I have a bowl in front of us that is filled with diced celery roots. So with a knife, I've cut the roots away, I've cut the tops away, washed it really well to get all the little bits of dirt out, and then cubed everything up.
Well, that's exciting. Chef Eric, one of the things that I do is I ask if my chefs will prepare a meal with me blindfolded so that you could kind of have a little bit of a walk into my world. Would you be willing to prepare this soup with a blindfold?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay.
I'd love to.
Well, here you go.
Oh boy. So just put it on and cook like I normally do, right?
That would be right.
Okay, great. Oh.
Now, I think it's really important to just mention that this isn't going to show you what it's like to be blind by any means. People sort of grow into it. They learn how to live independently through a lot of different training and practice. But this is just going to give you a brief idea of tuning into the other sensory modalities that one uses when they're cooking without vision.
Right. I feel pretty blind.
Right on. That's good. So, Chef Eric, can you show me what we're going to be using to make this potato celery root soup?
Sure. So I've laid out in front of us a few bowls. Let's see, this one with the spoon in it, that would be our chopped garlic. And then this next one is celery root. And for that, I've cleaned the celery root up, cut the roots away, cleaned it really well, and then just diced it simply. So that's this one. I have a whole potato and a peeler here, although I'm thinking that we're not going to peel it, but that's an option. You can do that if you want. So
why would you peel the potato? I think that the vitamins are in the skin of the potato.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
So And
I
you're
agree.
going to puree it anyway, so would anybody even notice that the skin was left on?
Well, it's a visual thing. So when we puree the soup, the potato peel will be broken down into tiny little bits of brown peel. And you know, for you and for me with the blindfold on, we end up with a much better flavored soup and one that's better for us nutritionally. But you have a soup with little brown specks in it. And that's neither good nor bad. It just it is what it is. Additionally, I have let's see. Oh, here it is. In front is some sliced onion. So the onion and the garlic, the celery root, the potato, we'll cook that in a little sunflower oil initially, and then we'll add water. We'll bring it to a boil. We'll boil it until the water reduces all the way down, so there's just a little tiny bit of water left.
Are you seasoning these also?
I will be. Seasoning is something that's really important to happen at the end. It doesn't. It's good to do it kind of along the way, but the critical part is before food that we're going to eat goes into the plate to be served. You do one last check and make sure everything is adjusted and just right then. So it's tricky to season this one at first because we don't know what the finished volume is going to look like.
Okay. Well, that
so-
makes a lot of sense. You know,
Right.
there are people who, I mean, I would be one of them. I would start putting the salt in now and still add it as I'm condensing it.
Yep.
So you're right. If it's,
Yeah, and we'll add a little bit of salt, but I'm going to make sure that it's under seasoned at the beginning.
Okay.
So it turns out that cooking with a blindfold on is pretty challenging. All right, so now let's see, I need the oil. That's my celery root. Oh, there it is. I found the oil.
And this is sunflower oil?
Sunflower oil, that's right.
And how much oil are you putting in?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
What normally do you think you should put in there?
Several tablespoons. Yeah. All right, so now we have oil in. Now we'll transfer this onto a burner on the stove. We'll cook for a few
Okay.
minutes. Once the onion and garlic has cooked through, then we'll add the water in. Right now I'm feeling to see if the water is right about at the level, and it feels it to me, to the top of the vegetables.
Right, it does, yeah.
Okay, great. So now it's going to go back on.
See, now that's good to know. I would have just filled it all the way to the top and let it cook
Right,
down.
and that's possible, but I like this method more, and here's why. It turns out that really delicious food is great ingredients, paying attention along the way, and then at the very end being willing to revise and check and adjust and back and forth. Right. After all these years, I don't think I've made anything that I can think of perfectly the first time. Everything needs a little bit of adjustment at the end. I just
Oh.
expect that.
So how long is this going to sit on the stove for?
But it'll take about 45 minutes or so. Come up to a boil, then reduce all the way down.
And then now this is again on medium to high heat right now?
Yeah, actually, it's full throttle.
Oh.
Yeah. There's we can bring it up to a boil, let it boil as fast as it can.
Okay.
So once the potato and celery root are finished cooking, the water in the pot is reduced all the way down just to a little bit left, and I transfer it into the pitcher of a blender. Turn the blender on and let it go.
So Chef Eric, you've just completed the blending of the soup, and now we're going to put it in the bowls and garnish it.
And serve it up.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
I am too.
Right, so I'm work my way down to where the blender is. Okay.
So if I'm not ready to serve the soup right away, then I can keep it warm on a low temperature on the back burner
Right.
on my oven when I am
Yep.
prepared to serve it piping
Yep.
hot.
Yep,
But right now
exactly.
it's hot enough.
Right, yeah, just came off the stove a second ago. We pureed it, and now we'll get it into the bowls. Okay, so
Okay, here's your bowl.
thank you. And
When I measure
pitcher.
things, when I'm pouring them, sometimes I leave my finger in the glass or the bowl just so I know exactly how much I'm putting in, whether I want it on my tip of my finger or somewhere midway up on my finger.
Yep. I love that trick, and you told me that trick just in time. So there's one bowl of soup.
Okay.
I don't think I've spilled it. Push that guy aside.
I'll move it back. Here's another bowl. This is teamwork.
We work well together.
I like it. Yeah, so if I need a backup job, right? I can be your sous chef.
You're so hired.
And so then you're going to do the final seasoning at the very end, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So we'll check our soup. We'll add a little bit of salt if it needs it. And I always expect it to just need a tiny bit. There's number 3.
This really does smell amazing.
It's really so good.
And it's so simple.
good.
4 basic
That's it.
ingredients,
Yeah,
right? We have
that's it.
onion, garlic,
That's it.
the celery root, and a potato.
Right. And so, you know, the flavor of celery raw is different than the flavor of celery root. Celery root becomes a little bit more mellow. Just like raw onion is sharp and cooked onion is mellow. It's the same thing with celery. And so this has a really rich, mellow flavor that's all its own. I love celery root.
All right, so take off your blindfold and see what you think. How did you do?
Wow, that looks like soup. Wow.
Okay, but
Not
you know, it may
bad.
look good, but the proof is in the taste, right?
All
so
right.
I think we need to taste it.
I have a spoon for you.
Okay,
There you are.
thank you.
Yep. And here's a bowl of soup for you.
Okay,
I'm going to steal one.
right? Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I love the textures.
That's a good bite.
Oh. Okay,
It's
well,
kind of warm.
You know,
That's
Chef
delicious.
Eric, thank you so much. You've been a great teacher today. I love spending time with you. And this is a soup I'm going to make a lot for my home, at my home with my friends and my family.
Awesome. Thank you.
Check this out. This is Eric Skokan's Black Cat Organic Farm, located in Boulder County, just a few miles outside of his restaurant. Wow, this is what 130 acres of an organic farm looks like. Unbelievable. Really, who can manage such a large farm and be the chef in his own restaurant? We're going to find out more from Eric how he manages this and what his ideas are for the future of local organic farming. Wow, Eric, your farm is really incredible, and I feel like it's such a special place to be. Could you please tell me and our viewers all the different varieties of vegetables you grow and that you use at your Black Cat Bistro?
We grow everything. Or I should say everything that we can grow, we grow. So we have heirloom tomatoes, 24 different types. We have sweet potatoes, peanuts, 4 different types of chilies. We have tomatillos, we have eggplant, several different types. We have sweet corn and field corn that we grow for polenta. We have cucumbers. I can't even think of the number of types of winter squash and pumpkins that we have. We have potatoes, 10 different varieties, tons of dry beans, all the root vegetables that you can think of, parsnips and carrots and beets and radishes and turnips, tons of varieties of all of those.
Talk to me a little bit about the soil and the different kinds of things that you'd want to be looking for in creating soil.
Soil is really life. Soil is this huge, broad group of microbes, little plants, little animals that are microscopic, that live in that mix of dirt. And keeping that group of life alive and healthy and diverse, that's the secret to agriculture. That's the secret to your health and my health. We have the same microbes in our bodies, right? In our gut, we're filled with microbes. We live in balance with them all the time, and so do plants. And the thing that monocropping, that big commercial agriculture sidesteps, is the need to grow this broad, healthy, diverse group of microbes in the soil.
So is this a model that can sustain the population of the planet?
I think so. There are there's an oddity that happens in our agricultural world. You'll have a neighbor on one side of the fence who grows nothing but corn.
Right.
And then you have a neighbor and in order to grow the corn has to buy commercial fertilizer. And then you have a neighbor on the other side who raises nothing but pigs. And those pigs provide a lot of manure, which is a lot of essentially fertilizer. And those excess nutrients from the pigs end up going into our streams and rivers,
Right.
and create dead zones. Wouldn't it be great if you got the neighbor on the one side with the pigs to talk to the neighbor on the other side with the corn, and maybe they could move the pigs over to the cornfield and then back again? You just switch them back and forth, right?
You mean like collaborate?
Yes, like collaborate.
And cooperate,
right?
and communicate?
And could you imagine a world where we just moved the pigs around, where we organized ourselves in a way that we didn't have to transport the manure around? We let the pigs can walk, right?
Right.
The pigs are pretty good at transporting themselves and their manure around. And that's essentially what we've done here. So this model is large scale in that it's 130 acres, and we provide for a couple of our restaurants and the farmers market and our schools and whatnot. But in the grand scheme, it's a small operation. But ultimately, the number of animals that we raise in the U.S. and the amount of cropland, in a big picture sense, those are pretty balanced. So it's really just a question of talking with each other and cooperating and moving the animals back and forth, coming up with a system to get everything to be dynamic and moving instead of static. And interestingly, the new research that's out there is with raising animals dynamically, with cover cropping and with annual crops, corn and soybeans and such, is that the animals, contrary to what was thought, perform better and are cheaper to raise when they're raised in a dynamic sense, moving from one field to another as opposed to staying in a feedlot.
Now tell me about the tomatoes that you grow. I have a thing for tomatoes, and this is the season for tomatoes.
Right.
What are the different varieties that you have on your farm?
Oh, do you have an hour?
I do.
I love tomatoes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we grow 24 different types.
Wow.
And like with everything at the farm, I try to grow a few of my favorites in each of the different classes. Yeah, we've just finished harvesting lots of cherry tomatoes, so I'll run over to the packing shed.
Okay.
I'll grab some, and we'll
Awesome.
run
And we'll
our
wait
fingers
right
through.
here
Yep.
for those tomatoes. All right, baby. Oh my goodness.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Wade?
yeah. Hey, I'm a mom. Look at this one. This is like a strawberry. Look at that. What's this called?
Yellow pear. Sundae.
Yeah, it's more like a pear, sundrop, teardrop.
Yep.
So this basket of tomatoes is really stunning. Are you going to be taking that to your restaurant tonight and using it?
This particular basket, no. This basket right here is going to our local school. So we sell vegetables in addition to our 2 restaurants in the farmers market. We also sell into the local school system. So my kids will see these tomatoes in 2 days on their salad bar.
Oh no, that's groovy. Thanks, Eric.
So much my pleasure.
Right on. We're good.
This is Casey Middle School. We're about to go inside and meet the 2 8th grade Iron Chefs. You know, something interesting about the Boulder Valley School District is they are 100% scratch cooking. Local, farm-to-table, organic food for every single student, every single day. Let's listen to what Chef Ann has to say. Chef Ann, thank you so much for having us here today, and it's such a pleasure to get to meet you and learn about what you're doing here in the Boulder Valley School District. Tell me a little bit about what your vision was when you came here to the Boulder Valley School District.
Well, when I came to Boulder Valley, I had come from Berkeley, California, and what I really wanted to do, which is what I did there, was segue from highly processed to scratch cooked. So my vision here, as it is with all school districts we work with, is to get rid of the junk food, get kids eating real food, cook everything from scratch.
Now, this is a celery root. Until Chef Eric told me about celery root and kindly introduced us to you, and again, it's really great how this whole thing comes full circle. We picked this out of his garden today.
Nice.
And you and your two young Iron Chefs made it, and they're so adorable. They're having so much fun. They love to make yummy food, and that's what we're really all about. So I just can't thank you enough for your time today. Oh my gosh, I am here today with Kaitek and Albin, who are both the winners of the Iron Chef last year here and second place winners this year. Gentlemen, tell me about what you cooked when you won the first place for the Iron Chef, and then what you made when you took second place.
When we took first place, we cooked chicken and waffles.
With a side of coleslaw?
With a side of, first place was chicken piccata. Chicken piccata is, I really liked chicken piccata. We had chicken piccata with a side of broccoli on it.
Over some noodles with lemon sauce and capers, I believe.
Yeah, chicken piccata.
wow.
Just
Yummy.
standard chicken piccata.
What kind of pasta?
It was just spaghetti standard.
Okay,
It was
standard
like
spaghetti.
It was just like spaghetti or something. I don't know what you guys said, pasta. But that ended up actually being on the menu a couple years ago. And then fast forward to last year,
we got second
we
place.
got second place with chicken and waffles with a side of coleslaw.
What did you guys think about the celery soup or the celery root soup?
I like it a lot. I think it's really good because it smells nice and it's very standard. I mean, like, all it takes is a couple of ingredients and some boiling water.
You know,
And it's really
You
simple.
can make
it's
it in a
simple,
couple of
but
minutes.
I mean, I haven't tried it yet,
Yeah.
but I assume
I'm really
it'll
looking
be
forward to it.
really delicious. I look forward to doing it.
It smells really good. You
Uh-huh.
can smell
It smells
cooking
really
right
good.
now.
Yeah.
You know.
Tell me something. Who should be concerned about the food and where we get it?
You know, honestly, everybody
Anybody
should.
who eats food.
You know, some
Everybody
people-
who eats food, huh?
You know, that's pretty much everybody. Really, some people think, oh, I don't need to be concerned with it. It's really not a big deal. Getting locally sourced food is good for the environment.
gets
It's
you
supporting
guys-
your local economy too.
And
It
it
supports
does
the local
support your
economy.
local economy. You have local farms. You go to your farmers market. You support those folks here in Boulder. What is it about food that make both of you so passionate about the food you prepare?
It's really fun for me to be able to cook something and have it be just delicious and know that I cooked it, versus if you just go to a restaurant or if you go to your friend's house and somebody else cooks something, you're like, that's pretty good. But if you're like, you cook something, you're like,
And you
oh my
really
God, look what I
appreciate
made. You appreciate it. You spent the time to make it. And especially if you know where it came from, then you're like, and especially like if something, we actually have a garden, and when we get
in your house?
no,
at the
across
school?
across the street.
Okay.
From our house, we have
A community garden.
like a community garden.
Okay, sure.
And from our garden, we get. It's really nice when we cook something from our garden, and we're like, well, I remember planting those seeds a couple months ago.
That is so much fun. And what about you?
I enjoy cooking because it's just so experimental and you learn so many new things, and also, of course, I love to eat it afterward. And
you
I
like
really
to make
started
it-
cooking because I enjoy eating.
And you like to make it for your friends and family.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
How big should these cubes be?
I like medium size, maybe a little bit bigger.
There we go. Right there. We don't want to cut off too much.
Okay.
How about
Let's
that?
go with those.
This is my favorite part.
What part?
Just dumping everything
Just
in.
dumping everything in. It's so satisfying. Just like. And in this soup in particular, we chopped up potatoes and
Onions, garlic, and some
root.
celery root.
This is celery root.
Celery root, yes.
Once this is all boiled and all the vegetables are all cooked down so we can puree them, and it's really delicious. There's no other really seasoning. This is a basic version of that. A little unusual ingredient is the celery root.
Oh, wow.
It has nice flavor. I can taste all the different components of it.
That was just right.
You can taste everything in it, from the onions to the celery.
Thank you. Delicious.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's really
Thank
good.
you.
If you're a parent or an advocate or you work in schools, know that you can go to the Chef Ann Foundation School Food Institute and take all our classes for free. The Colorado Health Foundation has paid for every school food professional in the state to take our online courses. Every school district can do what we're doing. Every single school district can feed kids healthy food. And it should just be a birthright in our country that every kid every day has healthy food in school and no kid is ever hungry. And we need to do that in Colorado, and I know we can.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. This program was brought to you by the generous support of Virtual Vanguard Productions. If you'd like more information about Cooking in the Dark, visit us at cookinginthedark.today or visit us at rockymountainpbs.org.